Hey everybody. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of common, uh, complaints that maybe we hear in the workforce, both from our employers and potential employees, and a nice vetting combination that we have worked through here at Oxygen. So one of the things that I want to talk about specifically when we talk about potential employees is that potential employees coming into, or that are potential hires for your organization, are not necessarily unemployed currently. For reference, because our videos stay up on our website for an indefinite amount of time at this point, in the latter part of 2021, we are in a massive employment vacuum. So we have a considerable amount of people who are unemployed. We also are coming into a fresh school year. So we have a couple of different scenarios. We have parents who are sending their kids back to school and will be able to re-enter the workforce, hopefully with kids staying in school, and may not feel quite the need to remain at home, whether that be working from home or not working for an employer at all. And then we also have people who are actually unemployed, and then we have people who are employed by someone but are actually looking for another job. So we're going to get to that again here in a little bit, but for point of reference right now, where we're at in our economy, where we are at in the pandemic, that there's different types of people who are potential hires in your organization. So we hear a couple things. First, we hear, I want to work from home. And we all know there's plenty of reasons why people want to work from home. The next one we hear quite often is from our employers saying, I need employees. I'm understaffed, or I don't have the right type of employees. And the third one that we hear is also from our employers is, I want my employees to come to work. I want them to be in person. I don't feel like I'm getting the right type of result, so I'm uncomfortable with the work from home philosophy, and I need my peeps. I need my peeps back where I can see them. So how do you work through these challenges with an employment vacuum at its peak? Right now, I would say it's at its peak. I suppose it could get worse again, but for right now, with the pandemic support pretty much on its way out, and unemployment numbers still kind of high, we seem to be kind of at a peak in the work vacuum. So if you want to work from home, my first recommendation for you is you need to look for a job specific in the fact that you want to be a work from home employee, and you need to be honest. Don't try to get hired somewhere and then say, after you've gone through the hiring process, oh, by the way, I was hoping this was a work from home job, or, oh, could we change it up now? Right off the rip, you need to say, I'm looking for a work from home environment. The next piece to that is, why should you be considered for a work from home position? Do you have experience? Can you show or give examples or letters of recommendation that show you are better to work from home? We do have plenty of employees that work better in certain roles, that when they are in a quiet place and they don't have to necessarily be in an environment where they're sitting next to their coworkers. Make sure that you have a portfolio available. Use LinkedIn. Make sure you're seeking recommendations. If you don't know how to do that, we have the classes set up to boost your LinkedIn profile. We can even get you some screening tools that you can, as an individual, seek out to show you have the behaviors and the qualities to be a work from home employee. You don't have to be a part of an organization to seek that out if you are looking for an ideal job. The next piece is, for our employers that say, I need employees that work in person. And this is always a great topic, and we're getting really good at it around here. So I guess my question to you is going to be, do you really? Now, if you tell me that you own a manufacturing plant and you have machines that need to be run and all of those have to be in-person types of roles, then you're right, you do. And that's completely okay. We can screen your potential hires before you make them an offer, before you give them a job, and tell you if they should work for you, if they will fit in your culture. The other pieces that you have to answer, because it's not as simple as, Kat, they have to come run a machine, is, do you need them to work full time, or can they be a job share? In some cases, if it's, let's take this role out where you need to run a machine or physically be there to do something, being in an environment or being a part of a collaboration team is important. Being a partial work environment or being a work share environment is a very common practice. And I know that makes a lot of people super uncomfortable, but that was in place for very, very large organizations prior to the pandemic. So if that makes you squirrely, if that gives you goosebumps and you're saying, I'm ready to stop watching Kat's video now, we offer you the opportunity to have executive coaching here and work through that. Both your pre-hire and your executive training are all available to you so that we can find the gap, whether you as the owner or manager have some issues you have to work through, whether your pre-hire or existing employees have some gaps we need to work through, so that you don't have to keep saying, I need employees. Because the last thing we want to see is this cyclical loop where it's in the door, out the door, in the door, out the door. Every entrepreneur can raise their hand and say, the only people that stay are the ones I don't want to stay. The ones that I actually want to stay are the ones that develop and go. And I can't seem to get rid of the ones that I don't want. So let's not hire the ones you don't want. Let's find them ahead. It's super, super important. The next thing is, do you pay them a rate that is going to offset their hiring costs? So we can now show you, I'm super excited about this tool. This is something that you're only going to find as a part of the Oxygen coaching team. We can show you what to pay them so they will exceed their hiring costs. You may be paying too much and you may not be paying enough. Let me say that to you again. You may be paying them too much. And that's not in an attempt to say, oh, we'll hack these people's pay. But if your retention rate is not long enough, your pre-hire or your initial hire per hour or base salary could be too high. Let me just, for those of you who are visual, because I know a lot of my entrepreneurs are, I'm going to chart this out super fast. I will tell you right now that if I put this chart up here and you guys have questions, you're going to have to call in. You can now book with me right on the bottom of my email, or you can send a request on our website for a 30-minute consult with me. You don't have to call and set it up. You can just pick whatever works for your calendar. So if this is where we know we want to stay, this is the break-even point right here, where they've offset how much it costs to hire them versus what you pay them hourly. And right now, you don't pay them enough and they don't stay on board, or maybe even you pay them too much, and this is where we're seeing they work from home and they choose to work from home too many days, or they take too many virtual meetings, or their lunch hour starts to go from 45 minutes to 55 minutes, or there's all kinds of options right here. you really should have only been hiring them right here. So if your optimal you break even at 320 days to offset what it actually costs to hire them, and we can help you figure that out. We can help you decide that this right here is the optimum spot as to what to hire them. You know, maybe it goes from $13 to $16. Maybe it goes from $19.50 to $18.88. And what we're trying to do is figure out exactly what it's going to cost for you to break even, what your hiring costs are versus how many days they have to stay and what you should pay them. It's actually a really cool tool. It's completely homegrown. Shout out to my high school calculus teacher who got a really great kick out of the fact I still remembered all of those crazy functions and all the calculus stuff. We figured all of that out homegrown for you guys, and you can use that tool when you are a client with us here at Oxygen. The third thing for my owners is employees need to be screened pre-hire. So we're all capable of hanging the moon. We've all been there during an interview, but if you don't see a behavior assessment, that's not DISC, that's not, get out the myriad of things that it could be. It is a behavior screening, and you know what questions to ask to kind of try to debunk what you're being fed the line of crap in an interview, then your pre-hire screenings are not effective, and you could potentially be paying too much for them or not getting the right information. All right, I need employees. This is a huge one. We hear this a ton, skilled trades especially. You're getting training from a mom who has 2 kids right in the thick of it. One who is in an engineering program, one who is working into another trades program. They are teenagers, freshly graduated from high school, and in his senior year, I am living this life with you aside from what I do for business. Here's what you don't hear. So listen very carefully to what I say here. Here's what you don't hear. Companies with a stellar culture that people want to work for having a hard time finding employees. They are out there. They're not out on an Indeed or LinkedIn constantly begging for people. There are companies that are not begging for employees. So my homework for you here is, who are they? And if you get on LinkedIn, see who you know that work in those places. Reach out to them. Ask them why they like working there, because I will tell you that compensation is not the number one answer for the people as to why they work at that company. It's not compensation. This is a business tool for those of us who are watching the bottom line and trying to figure out what it's going to take to keep people once we get them in. But retention is not about pay. It's not. Unemployment numbers are not necessarily affecting our staff shortages. The economic issues that are causing increased unemployment numbers are not what are causing our staffing shortages. We find more disgruntled employees changing jobs than we do people coming off of unemployment and going back to work. It's super scary, but it's true. The caveat being, we're getting ready to send kids back to school. We could potentially see an influx in people that are more confident their kids are going to stay in school and go back to work now, gainfully employed for other people. However, we're not seeing a mass exodus of people coming off of unemployment and coming back into the workforce. We're seeing people moving to a job that they see greener pastures on the other side of the fence. So let's get true here. Do you want, you look at your organization today, do you want your valuable people to leave? Remember, we talked about it earlier in this video. The only people who stay are the people who, they're our employees and we care about them, but our valuable people are the ones that are leaving. So do you want your valuable people to leave? Because another company who's just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, maybe they were the company that signed contracts with me this morning or yesterday or the day before. They're just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, learning how to save their culture and their people. They are already scouting your valuable people, your top 5 that you don't think you would be able to survive without. So, does any headhunter or any HR person that you have dealt with in the last 90 days, no matter when you watch this video, I want you to ask yourself, write them down, figure it out, make a list, whatever you got to do so that you can fully embrace it. Any headhunter or any HR person, internal or external, that you've talked with in the last 90 days said anything to you about caring for your people compared to the rate of pay and retention, and been able to prove it. I want to know. I will give away t-shirts if you can tell me an HR company or person or a headhunter hiring organization that has come to you in the last 90 days and shown that to you. In an email, whatever. I will give away swag baskets full of oxygen stuff if you can show me that that's what they're talking to you about. We aren't headhunters. We aren't external HR. We aren't even a placement company. We help you fix the problems that your company is having. And we have the backup to prove how we do it. So if any of that touches what you got going on in your organization, if any of that makes you squirrely because we're hearing it from places and you're not alone, but we know how to fix it and you aren't engaged with us yet, go to oxygencoachinggroup.com. You can request a continuous improvement plan questionnaire along with a 30-minute consult. And if you need help or you're worried that your top 5 people could be gone, not even your competition. This isn't about them leaving to your competition. This is just about them leaving you in the next 3 months. I hope that you and I have a 30-minute consult in the near future or after you watch this video. I hope everybody's staying healthy, well. I hope you're caring for your employees, and I hope everybody takes just a little bit of time to breathe life in. If you want to check out my graph, shoot me some notes. Bye, everybody.